It's Monday, June 5th. We had WWDC today, and Dave and I are here to talk about some of that stuff. And Mark Sadowski is going to be joining us. He's not here yet, but he will be. And
Oh my!
it was an interesting keynote. There was a lot of stuff mentioned that we're not even going to get into because it really doesn't relate to iPhoneography at all, really. But we're going to try to talk about some of the iOS stuff and hopefully with how it relates to photography in some way, shape, or form. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Doing good, Greg. And I do want to say I'm going to mention something about the very expensive ski goggles
Oh yeah.
that does deal with photography.
Oh yeah. There
That
is a couple of things there too.
there's a
Yeah.
couple of things they mentioned that I'm kind of curious. Will they bring it to the new iPhone?
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Because
Well,
they did show
we'll.
something that was exclusive to it, but it's using the current, it's using the M2 chip, which is related to the current iPhone 14 chip.
Well, we'll get
So
into that part
yeah,
when definitely when Mark
tease
comes
that.
on
We'll
because I
tease
think
that a
he
little bit.
I think he wants to delve into that one too. So, um, we'll start. So we are on the iOS 17 preview webpage, and there'll be a link in the show notes for this. Oh, and by the way, folks, we're not going to be talking about our recent photos or nothing. It's just going to be all WDC
Dub, dub.
and whatever we can find with it to talk about. So,
Mhm.
uh, the first thing that they talked about was the phone, making phone calls, and how does this relate to photography? Well, I mean, if you go to the link in the show notes for this iOS 7 preview page, you'll see and unless you've seen the keynote or have already read up on this, but you'll see that the uh, the the new contact card that they have what shows up when you call someone, it's customizable, kind of like the home screen is in iOS 16, where you can have your picture there, then you can have customized fonts for the text, and it could even work like a portrait photo. It's really cool. Dave, what do you think of this?
No, I think it's really nice. And one thing is that this is something that you set to be sent out.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
right now, if you wanted to go through certain contacts and put a photo on it, and so their photo would come up as they call, you could do that, but that's work on your end. This is you setting it up, and then when you call anyone with an iPhone, I imagine you need iOS 17, which iPhone uptake rates are so quick. Within mid-October, 95% of the people are going to have iOS 17.
Yeah.
You'll be able to set what it looks like, and including text. And
Hmm.
this is one thing that was really interesting for, I think, both Japanese and Chinese text. It's
Hmm.
vertical.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
it
cool.
corrects to look correct. And you can stylize the photo. You can use, Memoji if you want. But I do like you can make it very creative. So someone
Oh
calls
yeah. Yeah.
you, it's there.
Hmm.
Now, admittedly, I don't know, not a lot of people, let's put it this way, not a lot of people under the age of probably 40 to 45 make phone calls anymore.
Well, this is it, eh?
But I think this will also work with FaceTime.
Yeah. Yes, I believe you're right.
So if you do FaceTime, and if this catches on, I could see other, um, you know, Skype, Teams, all
Well,
that
yeah,
stuff
because they're putting
starting to
the
pick up
API
the
out there,
idea.
right?
I
Yeah, they're
I'm not
putting the
sure, but I think so. The iPhone's getting more and more open, though.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw them say they were going to put the API out there for
Mhm.
developers to work on. Like if you have Zoom or whatever,
Right.
these contact cards will show up, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, and so live voicemail is next, and I guess it shows your contact card as well. But the
Mhm.
nice thing about live voicemail, and I don't know what the deal is going to be with this yet. If it's just going to automatically work on every iPhone, or carriers have to be involved with this, or what, I don't know. But
I think
um,
it's going to be. I think it's going to be built in. I think it's going to
well,
be built
I
in
hope so
because
because it's pretty cool.
yeah,
But to see a transcript of your voicemail on your screen, while they're leaving the message, you could read this
yeah,
transcript, and then you could decide whether or not you want to pick up the call or not. And I think that's awesome.
yeah. This can be a big help. I've had it a couple times where I've had calls from people not my address book, and I'm like, why am I getting a call from this city? You can see the number, you don't necessarily recognize the number, and you see
Hmm.
the city, you're like, why don't? And then you hear the voicemail afterwards, you're like, oh, that's for so and so. I consider that, you know, actually this other city, but because of the way the exchanges work and weird borders, it's actually this other city per the phone company, you know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. But this goes back to the 80s and 90s. Kids ask your parents when you had literal, two pieces of tape, two little cassette tapes, one outbound, one inbound,
Yeah.
for calls, and you could start listening to someone say, of course, back then you may not have had caller ID. You waited to hear what people were leaving the message, and you picked up halfway, said, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm here."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, like I said, that's what you can do here, which is, it's a nice thing.
Yeah. And
But
that particular
now
feat.
before people, if anyone yells at us, yes, Google and Android's had this for a few years now.
Oh, have they? Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
even know
yeah,
that.
this is Apple playing catch up. This is Apple playing catch up.
Well, I mean,
They've had call screening before for a while.
yeah.
But it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
But the nice thing about it is if you have silent unknown callers turned on, these calls will go automatically to voicemail, to live voicemail,
Yeah.
without even ringing you first, and then you can see what it says and just deal with a call accordingly.
Mhm.
So as we go through these, I'm gonna kind of, there's a little number beside some of them, for the little fine print at the bottom of the screen. So I've
Mm,
just screenshotted that, so I'll have it handy instead of going back and forth on my screen because it's a long page.
yeah.
But so that particular feature is Canada and US only, and it's available only in English at this time. I'm
Okay.
sure over time it will improve. As time goes on, they'll add more countries and more languages. Uh,
Maybe. I'll say this. Maybe because this may be a privacy thing
oh yeah,
because you're listening and recording someone. So this may be technological. This may be GDPR, which mean your data in Europe is much more secure, at least in the U than it is in the US,
oh yeah,
where there's like data privacy. Good luck.
yeah,
So that could be part of that.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, the next thing is messages. This is really interesting, and I had to pull the reins back on Dave because we were kind of getting into this stuff a little ahead of time when we were before I hit the record button. But I wanted to
Mhm.
save as much of this as I can for the recording. So, what's really cool about messages is these stickers. Okay, so it's messages. iMessages had stickers before. That's a given. But what they're doing with them now is they're putting them in a sticker drawer, kind of like the app drawer, but it's a sticker drawer
Mhm.
where you push this arrow or this button, and they all pop up in all the different kinds. And I just got a message from Mark, and he's not going to be able to make it. So
Mm.
that's kind of sucks. That's going to change the title of the show. But anyway, we'll get him on at some point, and whether it's about WWDC or something else, we'll have him back on here sometime. But no, the stickers, what you could, okay, so in iOS 16, they made this feature where you can tap and hold on the subject of a photo, and copy it out and paste it into something else, or just drag and drop. And with iOS 17, you can actually do that with a live photo, and it turns into a GIF or whatever, and uh, you can have an actual sticker that moves. So that's pretty cool. Um, and
Now,
the first thing I thought of when I heard about this was you, Dave, because you take live photos quite a bit, and I think this was something that you will probably enjoy quite a bit, and I think
yeah,
I'll probably have some fun with it myself.
yeah, and I like the fact that stickers are going into a central location.
Yeah,
So,
all the
and
different
like I
sticker
said,
packs.
yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of a central location that you can save stuff at, but yeah. So I can see this. If you have pets or kids, let's say you take a picture of your kids or your pets, and we all know, no one's house is as clean or pretty as they want it to be. No matter how clean or nice it is, it's everyone still thinks, it's like, but if you have a picture of a kid you want to send off to someone or a pet, and they're always cuter when they're moving
Oh yeah.
or something's happening. So
Hmm.
you could do that and then select that little GIF and send that off. And if there's one really good one, you could just keep as a sticker as a reaction.
Oh
So
yeah.
I can see people really, and this this will go because it's I see messages, but I can see these being used a lot more places.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I wonder, like, are they going to be able to be used in something like Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or any of these other applications, or is it going to be strictly iMessage?
I don't know. I don't. Well, hold on. Here we go. Yeah, it says including apps from the App Store. And it
Oh,
says
okay.
use markup to add stickers to photos, documents, screenshots, and more.
Oh, cool.
So it's in your emoji key. It's going to be in your emoji keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll just be a keyboard. So, I could see, you know, again, you just add, you can make, because if you look at like GIF, some of the GIFs you can add to things where
Hmm.
celebrities have like different reactions, you can make up your own, you know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and add that to reactions to things. Or like I said, since it's just in the emoji keyboard, it's just like typing. Anywhere you can type, it'll be available there.
Yeah.
So I see that as a massive thing.
Hmm. Um, yeah. So, as far as messages go, there's a couple of other additions, like search filters. If you want to search for somebody that you've been messaging, you can come up with the person, or if you want to search for something that was talked about, like the example on this web page is they got a name and then ravioli. So if you were talking to that person and you talked about ravioli, you want to find out where in the message stream that was, it'll show you, which is kind of cool.
Hmm.
Um, and they're making it easier to catch up. So if you've got an unread message in a thread, you can hit this catch up button or wherever it is, and it'll go jump right to the oldest unread message. And you can swipe right to reply a lot easier now, as
Hmm.
opposed to hitting, long pressing on something and hitting reply or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, long press on the
Now,
bubble. That was it.
one thing you did miss, or went past. I don't know if you did it on purpose. The check-in feature.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So if you like, lots of times, when I'm going on a trip or something, and it's like Ruth will say, "Text me when you get there."
Right.
You know. So if I imagine this, you have to set where you're going in a map. You can like select destination work, destination
Hmm.
wherever, and
Yeah.
then when get there, send message to this person. That's kind of a nice, because I tried doing a shortcut for that when shortcuts first came out, and it
Hmm.
didn't exactly work as well as it should have. But this would be a big help,
Oh yeah, yeah.
especially I
Um,
imagine if for kids.
oh yeah,
It's like, let me know when you get home. Well, stuff happens, you forget stuff, or even what like Bruce says, like text me when you get to work because I have to drive on the highway and all that. There's accidents now and then. Well,
hmm,
sometimes you get to work and then the first thing you do is sit down and you're like bombarded with work, and send text to Ruth kind of goes in the back of your head when someone
yeah,
hits you
yeah,
the minute you walk in the front door. But
yeah,
this is just like, I'm here. She gets a little note. And if you're a little behind, it'll actually notify like, hey, running a little behind, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
did
Um,
something happen? And it'll check in and say, did something happen?
yeah. So
So I can see people thinking this is a bit nanny like.
yeah,
Well, dear,
I,
you took a little bit longer than you were expecting. What happened?
well, you know
But
what though? If you live in a big city, it's probably a darn good idea.
yeah.
Um, I had an automation in my phone where, well, I didn't know I didn't have this one. It's just something I thought of, but I never did put it in because I mean, I live like I'm a 3 minute drive to work. So I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's but what people could do, and I think they added this because the thing that I'm thinking of is an automation part of the Shortcuts app where what what would be good for you because you've got a commute to work and everything else, and if you wanted to let Ruth know when you got there, you could have it set so that when you connect to your say your work's Wi-Fi network,
Hmm.
that would trigger it to automatically send her a
Right.
message.
Hmm.
But that takes some setting up to do and whatnot. This check-in feature
Yeah.
just saves you from playing around with all that stuff, and it just does it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good little feature.
And I could even see, I know you mentioned about if you live in a big city, but if you have to do a good amount of rural driving,
Hmm.
you could have something like a flat tire or something happen in the middle of nowhere
Oh, sure. Yeah.
where,
As long as you got a signal, it'll work.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or honestly, if you stop and it's thinking you're going too far behind, it'll try to notify you.
Hmm.
And if you don't reply, it'll send saying, here's where they were, here's the last place we found them. Here's the battery life, and here's the last status.
Hmm.
Because like cars break down, stuff happens. You
Oh,
could be
yeah.
out in the middle of nowhere. You're worried about fixing the car, and you forget that you forgot.
Yeah.
Or a deer. I hate to say it, it's happened to me in the city. A deer runs into you.
Yeah. Oh,
One car I
yeah.
had, it got sideswiped by a deer.
Yeah. Yeah. That happened to my dad one time too.
Yeah.
And you don't see them coming.
No.
Um,
So yeah, that's a nice little feature. And nice thing is it's a opt-in feature.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. Um, so yeah, because the next is stickers. We went through stickers,
Hmm.
stickers in more places. So FaceTime, it's camera related, sure. So the feature that they announced here, like that really is cool, is you could leave a message. So you can record a video or audio message. When someone misses your FaceTime call, they can realize they've missed a call, and you could have a message there, just like leaving a voicemail, except
Hmm.
you can have it in audio or video. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a time limit on it. I doubt that there will be. But I know, pretty cool feature to have. And like
Hmm.
you said, the people don't make phone calls too much anymore, but there's a lot of people that actually use FaceTime.
Yeah.
And hey, why not?
Yeah.
Um,
And the one nice thing is that it says messages can also be played on Apple Watch.
oh,
So
really?
I don't know if that's the video or I imagine that's the audio.
You know what? I could see the video working there too because
Yeah,
I mean, I've
there's
played
no
YouTube
note.
videos on my Apple Watch before.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's neat. I mean, with the Apple Watch, obviously you can't record a video, But I
Right.
wonder if eventually you're going to be able to record an audio message through FaceTime on your watch. I mean, it's not going to work without your phone unless you have a cellular plan on your watch. But that's pretty cool. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out.
Hmm.
FaceTime on Apple TV, you got to have the 4K um, TV to do all that, or 4K Apple TV, second generation and later. Um, and this is available on the 10s or the 10R and later.
Hmm.
This particular feature, so you could put your phone down in front of your Apple TV, in front of your TV set, and your phone will act as the camera, and you can watch the call, large as life on
Hmm.
your screen, on your TV screen.
So this is basically continuity cam that's been available
Yeah,
on the iPhone.
yeah, yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, Something else that they've added is react with your hands. So if you're in a FaceTime call and you say give two thumbs up, then it will put these fireworks in behind you, because what they do is they separate you from the background, and they'll put these animated things in between, kind of like in messages when you long press on a message before you send it. You can have screen choices. You can send balloons, fireworks, all this stuff, and it looks like they're putting that into FaceTime, which is really really cool.
Yeah. And that says iPhone 12 or later.
When using the front camera, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it uses the depth camera.
yes, that's right.
And the fact that it's uh, using and it's, someone could say we're using AI to notice your gestures, because it is machine learning to know
Yes,
what the thumbs up is,
yeah,
and it's other ones. So I imagine it's more than just the thumbs up. There's other gestures that are built in that you'll have to unfortunately remember. But
yeah. But I don't know if it's I don't know if it's as worrisome as
oh no,
some AI things are, because I mean
no, no,
it's
no,
no it's of course it's all on device too, right?
right,
And
exactly.
it's no different than doing a search in your Photos app for a red car. It's going to recognize a car, and it's going to look for the color red, and it's going to show you the results. And it's all part of the machine learning thing, and it has its own chipset to do that kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
um, but pretty cool feature.
Oh yeah.
I don't use FaceTime nearly enough. I really should use it more. Man, I don't know. Maybe I don't know that many people,
Well,
but
my main use for it is talking to my dad
yeah,
once a
yeah,
week.
exactly. And I would use that with my parents, but they don't have an iPhone, and they're not about to get one, because my dad's got an Android phone that he knows how to use, and he doesn't want to learn anything different.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
But so next is there's a standby thing, which is kind of cool, because you can. Okay, so if your phone is laying on its side and it's charging, it has this standby screen where it could show, the clock, or there's different widgets you can show. You can have music on there. It looks like you can have a memory playing, which is kind of neat. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna look into these, because my 10s Max is now on iOS 17 developer beta. So it's gonna be interesting to see just how much it's gonna be capable of doing. Like I've got this list here that shows what's available
Mm-hmm.
on what devices or whatever, but it's not a very extensive list, I don't think. But uh, it looks pretty cool. You know, I don't know. I could swipe. Okay, I got to unlock it. It's on my desk. I'm just trying things, and
Now I can also see this as a somewhat of a seller for magnetic stands,
oh yeah, yeah.
because a lot of things they're showing is it attached to a magnetic stand to
Hmm.
make it look, well, almost like an old fashioned clock radio.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I've got I've got a wireless charger here on my desk, and it's mostly vertical, but you could put your phone on it sideways and it'll still charge because there's two things in it that'll actually do the charging.
Oh, okay.
So it's right now it's just working off the bottom one, and it's just like having a desk clock. It's really cool. But I could swipe and then I can. So it says unlock to view photos. Um, my 14 Pro Max, it will unlock when it's sideways like this. My 10s Max, I have to tilt my head sideways. If it's laying down like that, I have to tilt my head sideways in order for it to unlock. But and then I swipe again, and it's got this, just a clock with the date and the temperature on it. Oh wow! Oh, now that's a pretty cool clock. Oh, it went out. I don't know if it'll stay on long enough, Dave, for me to show you.
Hmm. No, you can always do a
Well,
screenshot
yeah, I could send you a screenshot of this.
and post it in the screen notes.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just a clock, and it just looks really cool. It's got the world clock, just a digital clock. It's pretty neat. I mean, they're showing basically what I'm looking at. They're showing it on the web page for standby, like on the preview.
Okay.
But daggum, that's really cool. um, so that's standby. With standby, you can do like live activities in full screen if you have a 14 Pro phone, and you see Siri results at a glance, so you can ask Siri something. And did you notice that, Dave? They took the hey off
Yeah.
of that.
Which
So
I'm a little nervous about.
I have a theory about that.
Okay.
I think if you say the word, it has to be followed by a question or a command. But if you just say it in conversation, I have to wonder if it will actually do anything.
Because I think I and a lot of other people have said the word seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and it did
activates
our friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how that was going to work. They didn't even talk about it. They just said the word is Siri, and it had hey in front of it, but they grayed it out and they stroked it out. So, they're showing that that's what they're going to do, but they didn't do anything to explain it. So maybe one of the sessions this week at WWDC will have a little more insight on that. But I thought it was interesting, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So next is interactive widgets.
I mean,
I don't know.
it may make widgets a lot more useful.
Well,
because
I think
you can
it
actually
certainly
do
will.
something from them.
Yes. As far as photography stuff goes with that, though, I think the photo widgets were pretty much you tap on the photo widget and it opens the photo, right? I mean,
right, but
how much more can you?
If you have a widget for a particular camera, you could have a button so it opens up automatically in certain modes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Like if you have a camera, I don't know if Camera Plus 2 has a widget or not, but you could have it where instead of just clicking and opening, you could, there could be a thing that says, take this type photo, take that type photo type thing.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility.
Let me lock my screen and then try to customize it. And well,
yeah, I don't have any camera apps for widgets.
Let's see. I have there's a widget for reflex, re-expose, and reheld. There is one. There's Camera Plus has one.
Okay.
Halide has one.
So I could see them adding in, you want to do something where you have a widget that does more than just open it up quickly, but you can go into a particular mode if you want to or not.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, because if you want to make sure it opens up with, say, the telephoto camera, it'd be nice to have a widget that said, open it in that particular camera. Yeah, I haven't played around with these widgets other than to have them there and just tap on them when I want to open the camera app, or like, reflex or reheld. And that's all I've done with them so far. So, um, yeah, so as far as interactive widgets go, that's, there's a lot more stuff,
It
but it's
depends
about,
on the developer. It depends on the developer for
oh
that.
yeah, for sure.
So I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, but I mean, you can access your home app, and let's say if you got lights and stuff you want to put on and off. Um, I mean, that's handy because I have one for the TV and a light downstairs, that type of thing. If I want to just hit them, I can just do it right from a widget, which is kind of neat. You could you could have a reminders widget, and then you can tap on one to say you did it, and then it'll just disappear on you, which is kind of cool. This is neat. AirDrop. They're going to be later. That's with an update. They're going to be including AirDrop. Like if you do an AirDrop, you can do it phone. Like just hold your phones close together now. Remember years ago there was an app called Bump.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, that was cool. It worked off Bluetooth, I think, but your phones had to be close together. And I know Samsung had a thing where they could actually touch their phones and it would work or whatever. But
not only Samsung, Windows Phone.
Oh yeah.
Or no, the
Okay.
Palm OS. Palm OS had that.
Oh yeah. Well, with this one, it still works like AirDrop normally works. You have to have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on, whatever. But you just go close enough for the NFC chip to activate, and it'll transfer stuff. It will. So if you say you and I are standing out in the parking lot somewhere and we're about to go home, and I want to give you my photos to for the podcast, and I tap on we do the AirDrop thing and then walk away. Well, the nice thing about it is it will do it over the internet. Even you can just go. You don't have to be close together. You don't have to be in close proximity to each other for to finish the job, which I thought was pretty cool. And I missed that in the keynote, or either that, or I don't know if they mentioned it, but I missed it I missed it on this web page when I was looking at it earlier. Dale on the Bloody Legends group brought it to my attention and say you can finish transfers over the internet, and I thought that's pretty cool. It says coming later this year.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's pretty neat. It says
that's a nice feature. That's a nice feature because I have introduced people with iPhone saying, "Hey, did you know about this about AirPlay? Where you're not AirDrop?
SharePlay?
It's like, huh? Yeah, I'm an AirDrop. What do you mean? Well, turn it on, open it to everyone. I'll just send you the photo without having to send a text. Boom, it's right there. But, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the rule with this is that you have to be signed into into iCloud for that to work.
Right. Well, the internet part, yes.
Yes. But the other thing they announced as far as that goes is name drop. So, when you meet someone and you want to swap phone numbers, that contact card we talked about earlier, that's the contact card that you can use to share your number, your name and number, and your picture with other people, and you can swap contact cards with AirDrop, which is pretty cool.
But one thing I like about that is you could select that you just don't share all your numbers.
No, it's just your contact card, and you have to have it.
But you can select which number. So if you have a home number, or cell phone number, or work number.
Oh yeah.
You can, most of us has multiple email addresses.
Yeah.
Including one that we use for spam.
Right. Yeah, you just pick and choose what you want to share with this contact card.
That I like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you have to have the contact card open, I think, and then I'm just going to watch this video here real quick.
I think it. Yeah.
So what happens is when you put your phones close together, it looks like it's going to pop up automatically.
Yeah.
And then Um, so you can have it receive only or share.
Okay.
So if you want to just get your someone's number from them and you don't want to give yours over to them, you can just
Yeah.
say receive only. Or if you
I
want
can
to
see that
share it, and,
a big help in business and conventions.
oh sure. Oh yeah. Yeah, it would be. Um, so share play, not much photography stuff related there really,
No.
but journal. Now this is what I'm really interested in this one here. It's kind of like day one. Have you ever used day one?
I know about it. I haven't done it because I'm not much into journaling.
Right. Um,
But the fact that it's you can do photos, music, audio recording, and everything else to make a journal for yourself,
mhm.
and it will give you hints. Hey, it looks like you did this. Hey, it looks like this happened. Hey, you may
Yeah.
want. It's like okay, yeah, because that the memories are a good thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, how many years ago it happened, or
Yeah. I used to use day one a little bit, but I got away from it because I just found it to be so cumbersome to put stuff in all the time. But if this one does a lot of it sort of automatically, that would be good. I think the ability to probably just use text or speech to text, like voice to text, would probably help. And I probably could have done that with day one, but this one, I don't know. I think I'm going to give it a try when it comes out. It's going to be in a later update after 17 comes out because it says coming in an update later this year.
right.
So
Point one.
probably like a point one or a point two update.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be good, and it's secure. Nobody can access it except you. It uses Face ID or Touch ID or whatever, and it should be interesting. Let's see. Autocorrect.
See,
Did
this
you
is what
see
we
the
need
way?
Mark on for.
Yeah. Did you see what Federighi
The
said?
ducking autocorrect.
The ducking autocorrect. I think we might have a show title. But yeah, that's sometimes autocorrectors just drive you crazy, right? I know it does
Yeah.
me sometimes, but
Oh no, most definitely.
yeah, not that I cuss a lot. I mean, I really don't, but
No, no, no. It is. It's just the it's the joke that, and they even made it during the presentation today. How
yeah,
Frank said you just want to ducking say something.
yeah, you just want to yeah, how did he put that? You just want to send a ducking message or something like
Yeah,
this, I
exactly.
guess.
So I mean, but I mean, there's tons like Ruth's trying to do something and it's typing, and I showed her the swipe keyboard, this built-in swipe keyboard. It's like, oh, this is new. I said I didn't think you would like it. That's why I didn't even mention it when it came out.
Oh
But
yeah.
she does dictation more than anything else
That right, eh?
on the phone because
Yeah.
it's just easier than typing for her
Hmm.
just to dictate.
Yeah. To
Uh,
duct tape.
the duct tape, yeah. So that would be a nice thing.
Yeah. Did you ever use the swipe on the keyboard?
Occasionally I do, but I'm so used to typing,
Yeah.
it almost I have to rewire my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
You know,
But sometimes I'll play around with it a little bit, but I tend to do more typing too.
yeah,
Um, so CarPlay, music and CarPlay stuff.
yeah. I don't think much big deal there.
No AirPlay, connecting to devices in hotels. Well, I don't go anywhere, so that
Yeah.
won't be me. AirPods with adaptive audio. That's I don't think that's completely new. I think they had in the AirPods Pro second generation. I think that's
Well,
been there, has it
it's
not?
the fact that
Or it's the
it's a
automatic
new
stuff that,
feature. It's a new
yeah,
feature where it will update depending what you're doing.
yeah, yeah.
So if you want to have transparency for you're out walking, you want to be able to hear cars.
Hmm.
But if you get a call, it will turn on the noise cancellation so you
Yeah.
can hear the call.
But then if a car comes,
Right.
it'll still let you hear
Yeah.
it, type of thing.
Or they showed it where one person was walking and then all of a sudden someone's coming towards them. They started to talk. The earphones
Yeah.
went down
Mm.
and transparency turned on
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
knew you wanted to hear what the other person was saying versus everything being. So that's a nice feature.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Not
kind of
like I
cool.
said, not really photography, but it's a really nice feature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course,
Um,
and I don't have AirPods because my earphones are pretty much running earphones.
yeah. Yeah.
And even the AirPods Pro are not really sweat resistant.
And I don't find they stay in my, like, I have a set and I
Yeah.
find they don't stay in my ears as well as they should.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know I've seen people run marathons with those in their ears. So
Yeah.
their ears must be who knows what. But yeah,
Hmm.
it just wouldn't match with me.
Yeah. Um, this is kind of a cool thing for me because I live in an area where if I go far enough from the city I live in, I do run out of a signal on my phone, and that is downloading map
Yeah.
sections for offline use. I have an app called what is it? Anyway, it um maps. It's called maps.me, and it's been so long since I've used it, it's offloaded itself from my phone. But you could download sections of the area to have them for for when you don't have a signal. But it doesn't have the functionality that Apple Maps has,
Mm.
for turn by turn and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So this is going to be a handy feature for you know, let's bring photography into it. If I'm going out in the middle of nowhere to take pictures and I
Yeah.
have no signal, well, at least if I download that area ahead of time, then I can still see where I am. The GPS will work and all this stuff. So that's pretty cool. Um, Siri. So it says just say Siri, and oh, you can still use it with Hey Siri too. It'll
Yeah.
still work. So
Sorry, folks.
yeah, so sorry, we're going to drive people
Sorry.
crazy. I'm Canadian. I'm supposed to apologize.
Okay. Yeah.
But um, let's see. So Spotlight, I'm sure you'd be able to, maybe do a better image search with Spotlight and
And that would be nice. That would be nice. It's still not
visual.
as good as it should be,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Google
especially
is
like search.
leaps and bounds ahead of it.
That's why I keep Google Photos out because I can do now. One thing they did add, you can tag animals,
Yeah. So your
which
dog.
Google Photos has had for at least multiple years.
So and that's by name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of
so
cool. Like,
that's a
I
big
could
help.
tag my
Yeah,
dog Hannah, and I can say, okay, this is
exactly.
Hannah, and
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can
Then
say,
searches
show me
for all
pictures of,
things. Yep.
yeah, and Lord knows I have a ton of pictures of our dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so there's that
Yeah.
visual lookup. Now this has something to do with pictures. If
This
you
is
take a picture of food, you can
yeah.
do a visual lookup and get recipes, type of thing.
That's very interesting. And
Yeah.
I don't remember them talking about this much.
No, they didn't
But
mention a lot of
this
these
to
things that we're going
me
over
is
here.
this is combining a lot of machine learning AI where you're notifying what you have, what type of food you have, and then searches on that.
Yeah.
So that would be very interesting.
Hmm. Um, and now in iOS 17, you can do visual lookup in video.
Yeah. Which you were able to do on text, I thought, but not on the
Yes.
actual images. So that's a nice
Right.
little feature too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Health app,
Not real. I mean,
uh, privacy and
not,
security. Well,
yeah, which
okay,
is
so
nice.
here's this feature where the screenshot I'm looking at says this could be sensitive. Are you sure you want to view it? So, if it could be a picture of somebody nude or what it thinks may be somebody nude or whatever,
Yeah.
Or there's another one with sensitive content. So I mean that's some of that stuff that Apple talked about a year or two ago coming
Yeah.
into play now. Lockdown mode,
Which is
even more
nice.
control over what you share. Yeah, improved
Yeah.
permissions. So yeah, there's a lot of things. Uh,
Because if you travel a
Memoji.
lot, now,
Yeah, yeah.
of course, local laws are different for everywhere, but a password is considered information in your head. And at least in the US, you cannot be compelled to do that.
Hmm.
However, biometric unlocking, you can be compelled to do that by law enforcement
Oh yeah.
because it's not information in your head, it's a physical thing you have. So, Face
Mm,
ID or Touch ID, the cops can make you do that if they want to unlock your phone. But if
yeah.
it's a passcode, then no, they can't without going through multiple legal things.
Hmm.
So
Um,
crossing borders, things like that for travel, other countries, that
yeah.
could be a big help.
Hmm. Um, so in photos, just this to be our final point before we jump to a different subject here. Photos, the people album is better than ever at recognizing your favorite people. And like you said, this includes the
Yeah.
cats and dogs as part of your family too. So, um, I've had my in the Photos app, I've had a picture of people, and it'll not know who someone is when I bloody well tag that person, and they've got their own collection of images. So hopefully
Yeah.
that part of it improves. Um, so okay, let's talk about the googly goggly thing.
Yeah.
I
Now,
say that, but I mean it's called Apple Vision Pro.
right, which no one got the name right.
No, not one person.
Nope. Now,
So you said earlier that there's a couple of things that are photography related that you wanted to
right,
mention. So I'll let
right.
you have the floor.
So this is going to sound a little weird, but the fact that you can take 3D video, photos, and video with it.
Oh yeah.
So
Yes.
that
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 was
now
cool.
the question is because that thing has I think like 20 different cameras all the way around it.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
But the question is for the 3D, what do they need to take 3D photos or videos?
Well, I think the
Because is it just a camera and LiDAR?
well, it's got LiDAR, it's got I think it's all the different cameras that are going to come into play
They
here.
do.
Like it's got
Right.
oh gosh, I don't know how many.
Like I said, it has 20, but a lot of those are not overlapping because
No.
you want to, because it lets you do things like, oh, you have something on the giant screen in front of you. And if you look to the left, it'll actually select what's on the left.
Yeah.
So if you have multiple virtual screens kind of hanging in front of you, if you want to select the left screen, you just look to your left and it selects it. So it
Well,
has to have a bunch of
with a
cameras
but
inside.
with a tap of a finger or something, right? You know, take it.
No,
Well, it'll select it, but it won't activate it, right?
no, it won't activate, but it'll select it because it's tracking
Yeah.
your eyes.
Oh yeah, yeah. But to
So
actually
it
do
has to
something
have a
with it,
lot
then
of
you
those
have to tap
cameras
your
have to
finger.
be inside your eyes because it also uses those inside cameras to use the screen on the outside to show what your eyes are doing
Hmm.
on that outside screen. Because if you're blinking, it'll blink your the eyes that it's using on the outside. If you look left and right, it will move the eyes left to right.
Yeah.
So the question is, with the the 3D photos, what is needed to take a 3D? Like I said, there are ones where you can have your hand in your lap and you're looking at something on the virtual screen and you're just kind of pinching and moving without
I
putting your
think
hand in front of your face.
I think it's
So,
going to work like portrait photos, but better because with FaceTime, they're going to be able to separate you from your background, right?
Hmm.
Well, I think they're going to be able to do this in real time with Vision OS and create a 3D photo or video by, using the segmentation mask or whatever it is they're going to do to separate the different elements in the image. And just, the thing's got an M2 chip in it, so it's going to be pretty powerful.
Right.
Um, I think it's,
But
I think that's probably how it's going to work.
right. But
Um,
I'm also thinking the pro cameras for the last couple of years have had the LiDAR.
yeah.
You have three cameras in addition to the LiDAR. At what point can you do this with, you can make a 3D, even though it's the viewing would only give you a pseudo 3D look, but you know, at what point can you do this with the phone?
Mm, yeah, really.
You
Well,
know,
but the cameras on this thing are a fair distance apart, right? Compared to the way a phone are. The
right.
cameras on the phones are.
But that's why I'm saying the LiDAR though,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm kind of curious to see if they use that. Remember, this isn't coming out till next year. So it may not be, you can't do it. You can do it on the iPhone 15.
yeah, maybe.
You know,
Well,
there could be additional chip.
there was a video they showed with a description of where the different components are in this
Yeah.
thing, and I think that might be helpful. I don't see it on the web page here.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
looking on Apple News, in the newsroom part, where they're showing all these different pictures of it, but I'm not seeing an image of or a video of the, because I think it's on YouTube that would show you.
Okay.
There's like a 9-minute video, I think, of the breakdown of the design and all that stuff of this thing. And yeah, I'm
Now,
gonna
the
have
other
to.
thing that was kind of curious was, and I saw a thing a few people write up about on the quote unquote hands on area.
Oh yeah,
There was no hands on this thing.
no,
They did not they were not able to touch it.
yeah, I can imagine. Not even iJustine
This
would
was
be
like
able to.
original iPhone where it was like the original iPhone where it was just in a case and you could take a picture of it behind a rope inside the case.
Yeah, yeah.
So now the other thing that's kind of interesting is the Zeiss optical inserts. So
Hmm.
if you have glasses, you'll be able to get your prescription, get the Zeiss lenses to match your prescription, and put
Yeah.
it in there. Now I don't know how much that's going to cost, but things $3,500 US.
Hmm.
But that, because the big question always is, well, they have this wonderful 3D, image thing, but if you wear glasses, what happens? Well, there you
Yeah.
go. So
Uh, yeah. Zeiss optical inserts.
yeah.
So
So
that's,
basically, you're buying these lenses, to put in there.
yeah.
And I know I have bifocals,
Yep.
so my glasses cost me around $300, and
Hmm.
the frames are maybe $60 of that.
Yeah.
You know,
But you know what? I don't think you would need bifocal inserts like these. You would
Probably
just
not.
need,
No.
one prescription to be able to
Yeah.
see whether it's your reading part or your other
Right.
part. I don't know, but um, yeah, I don't know. But
But the other thing to remember is the reason why they're introducing this now and it won't be out till next year is so developers can get their hands on it
oh sure, yeah.
and to see how much they're going to develop and make programs for this, you know, for these glasses.
Hmm.
And I am really curious to see what it's really like.
Yeah.
And I think it would have problems with me, to be honest, because I have my focusing issue.
Oh yeah.
where my one eyeball, like right now, my right eyeball is headed way off on right field.
Hmm.
So I have my left eye looking straight at the screen, the right eye is looking far right off. And it's hard. I mean, I can control it to a point and try to focus
Hmm.
both eyes on you,
Right.
but it gets a little painful
Oh yeah.
just because, and it's hard to notice when I have the glasses on because of the glare and the distance.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I can actually feel my eyes strain, just the muscles bringing them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering how, for people who have eye issues or focusing issues, which it's not a large percentage of the population, but I imagine it's a decent amount of people, how
Hmm.
Apple will handle that.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be interesting. Um, yeah, because it uses, and maybe only one, I don't know, but one retina scan to basically unlock them. You know,
Yeah.
it's like Face ID, except
Hmm.
it's not really a retina scan, it's an iris scan. It
It's an
scans the
iris
iris of
scan.
your
Yeah.
eye. And even identical twins will have different irises on their eyes.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that'll be interesting. Uh, and some people are wondering, well, if I FaceTime somebody with these things on, am I going to look like a goof in the call? Well, no, because what it does is you can set up a persona, they call it,
Yep.
where it scans your face, kind of like with a Face ID array of all these thousands of little, um, you know, I don't want to say rays. I don't know what it is, but it scans your face, kind of
Yep.
like what it does with a Face ID. And then what it does is, if you're in a FaceTime call, is it makes a 3D render of your face, and as you're talking, the mouth moves, the eyes blink, the whole 9 yards. Um, Kind of creepy a little bit, I think, but I mean, no different than
Yeah. Agreed.
no
No,
different than
it's
deep fake,
creepy.
right?
It's creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. But so was there another photographic feature that you had?
That was the big one. Just the 3D. I could see 3D somehow being snuck in.
Okay.
Um,
Because I'll throw one in the mix,
okay.
and that is the panoramas.
Yeah.
You know, when you're looking at a panorama that you've shot with your iPhone, you can actually make it look so big, and it'll actually bend around so that you could step right into it and be immersed in that panorama, which I think that's cool, but not cool enough for me to buy a set of these.
Oh no.
um, okay, so your the issue with your eyes aside,
Yeah.
is this something that you would even ever think about wanting at all?
No.
No, me neither. It's just, I mean, the to use it, you could use your Mac with it. You can look at your Mac screen, and all of a sudden, boink, your Mac screen pops up into the middle of the air, and then all of a sudden you're going, you're going, oh, what the heck's that movie with Tom Cruise?
Minority Report.
Yeah, all of a sudden
Yeah.
your Minority Report and everything in, and you know, oh, and I'm looking at Dave on the screen, and he's wailing his hands around like he's moving stuff, and that's
Hmm.
exactly what it is. But I
Now
mean, you
let
could,
me put it this way. I can see this at companies using
mhm.
this.
Yeah, yeah, because they showed the fact that you could use it with Teams and Zoom and
Hmm.
things like that.
And the fact you can project your eh,
You could share your computer screen with it,
well, yeah,
type of thing.
not only that, but think about people who have three computer screens.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
Wide
yeah,
three, not little chintzy ones, three wide computer screens, like three
yeah.
27-inch monitors.
Hmm.
Okay. At one point, maybe not first gen, second gen, this becomes cheaper than having three monitors.
Yeah,
Plus, you
yeah.
don't have to have an area big enough for three monitors,
Hmm.
you know, and you just have a regular wireless keyboard and mouse. So you're doing that along and you're typing along and honestly, it isn't limited because it's all virtual. It's not limited to three monitors. You could have a giant monitor, like stockbrokers,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
see them, they have all these. I could see them saying, "Hey, I can have my prices here. I can have this here. I can have this here. I could do this here. I could do this here. Move this over here. Deal with this. Hang this. Deal with this over here, and have all the additional information.
Yeah.
Or someone working at a control panel somewhere, like at a power plant. Because
Yeah.
right now you have screens on screens on screens on screens and this and here and there.
Yeah.
And if you can just say, put on these goggles and we have everything here, we customized it.
Could you see Homer Simpson with a pair of these?
Dope. Dope.
uh they're gonna have their use cases, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, they're darned expensive.
So
So
what would say again, we have to think this isn't, I don't think they're, even though they showed people at home using it, the initial people using it will not be your average home user.
no, that's right.
Well, I look at it this way. My work computer is a Dell Inspiron. No, I'm sorry, it's a Latitude. It's not an Inspiron, it's a Latitude. The Inspirons are what you see down Best Buy or on Amazon that are dirt cheap for the consumer models. Businesses don't buy those.
No.
Businesses buy the like I have a, I don't know if it's 13 inch, 14 inch, whatever. And I think I spec'd it out. Right now it'd be like $1,500 computer. No one's individually going to buy this. But businesses, yeah. And remember, this isn't for sale. Will this somehow be, and it's modular? Is it modular? So you could have your personal light block. So you have your light block that you can pop off and then pop off yours. It may be your personal band. So nothing that touches your face is shared.
Right.
So I mean, I know there are places that pre-pandemic, the idea of hoteling for offices was getting popular.
Yeah.
Full-time employees not having a desk.
Yeah.
You know, you just sit wherever you sit. And we all looked at everyone and went, we have 3 years of printouts that we have to keep per company policy, so we can't do that stuff. Other place, but businesses could see this like, okay, we just have to put out a wireless keyboard, a wireless mouse.
Yeah, and it works with those things. Yeah.
You pick up you put on your head, you put on your, and you can see everyone, and they can quote unquote see your eyes, and you can quote unquote see everyone else. You know, but you're typing along. Like at work, I have 2 monitors, and I would love to have a third. Because I have information here. I have an overlap here. I have my phone over here, which is on the computer. I have 3 different web browsers open at one time. I use Edge, Chrome, and Firefox at work for different options. I have Outlook open up over here. I have our company CMS screens over here. I have, other things here. I have call center over here. If I could space them out,
Yeah.
and just kind of look, okay, that's there, that's there, that's there. Let me pop that up here, move this here. Okay, yeah, I'm looking here. I'm looking at, and companies, instead of saying we're going to spend $700 per monitor for a decent 24, 27 inch monitor for 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be
there's a business case. There
would be business cases for sure.
Exactly. But, it's not like iPads where everyone was like, oh my goodness, $500?
Yeah.
So cheap. And then everyone bought the $800 version.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be in everyone's home.
No, that's right. But it well, it won't be in my home. I can tell you that.
Well, no. I see this similar to, in terms of adoption, depending on price, depending on what Apple can do with price, similar to big screen TVs.
Oh, yeah.
Where if you wanted at one time a 40-inch, a 50-inch TV, it was $1,000. It was $1,500 US. You know, it was, oh my God, I would never spend so much on a TV. And over this past weekend, we happened to go to forget either Sam's Club or Costco, and they had a 50-inch TV for like $600.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
mean, but look how long it took for them to come down in price, though, right?
that's what I'm saying. Down
Yeah.
the road, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. Second, third generation. Maybe making it where it could be going from luxury item to you know stretch items, but not ridiculous stretch items.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's a kind of a cool thing, I guess, but
Hmm.
the biggest thing for me is it looks goofy. I really think it
Yeah,
does, but
yeah.
and it's for what I would do with that, I would just as soon get myself a bigger
Oh
TV. Like I
no,
have
no,
a,
no. I think honestly, I really don't see many people doing this.
yeah,
Again, I can see this. If you're someone, and the problem is with like someone who has like I have a 90-inch TV. Generally, you're watching with people though, not by
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, that's right.
That's the killer. That's the killer.
Yeah, I mean,
So
how are you going to sit down with your family
yeah,
and watch a TV show
yeah.
with one of these? You're not going to do it. It's not
No, it's
going to.
impossible. So
It's
yeah,
just a solo thing, and I mean, unless you've got more money than you can shake a stick at, and you buy one for everyone, and you could all watch the
there's
same
people
thing
out
together.
there. There's people out there. We
Yeah.
know that.
So, well, I think we'll end it on that one.
Okay.
So we went over some iOS 17 stuff, and I'll put links in the show notes for the iOS 17 preview, and I'll put a link in for the Apple Vision Pro if anybody wants to just have a look at that too. And
Now, one thing that was big, and I'll mention this because Mark isn't here. Snoopy is coming to Watch OS.
oh yes, yes, that's right.
Snoopy
Yeah,
is coming to Watch OS,
the Snoopy watch face.
which
It actually
looks
looked kind of neat.
interesting
Yeah,
because if it's raining outside,
it'll be
he'll
raining on
react
your
to the
watch
rain.
face. Yeah.
If you're doing something activity wise and you don't have let's say, like anytime I run, I have a tracker on, or walk, I have a tracker on.
Hmm.
But if you just doing activity, it'll actually change the animation based on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
it's kind of cool.
interacts with the hands on the watch.
Yeah. Yeah, because it
So
showed him crumpling up a piece of paper and threw it. And then when it came down, it bounced off the minute hand,
mm-hmm.
bounced off the hour hand or whatever. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, that's in the Watch OS, which will likely come out probably roughly the same
Same
time as
time.
iOS 17.
Yeah.
Mac OS, it's probably going to be a month later if Habit has it. Usually it's a month or so after the iOS comes out. And but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just real quickly, I was looking at the wallpapers on my phone here once I updated it, and it didn't really look like there was too much new stuff. Um, I find it a little more cumbersome to change the wallpaper now because you basically have to do it from the lock screen. You can't even do it in the settings app.
Oh.
Because I went to the settings app and went under wallpaper and it said use your lock screen to change your wallpaper. So anyway, so as far as I mean, I just put this in before we started recording, and I've got to do some, looking around in it to see if there's anything in there. Let's see, I'm going to start taking some live photos of the dog to see if I can make some stickers and things like that.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but I won't be able to send them to anybody unless they're on the beta. You know what? I don't know. Tell you what, Dave, when I get one made, I'll
Okay.
send it to you. It might not happen till tomorrow, but I'll send it to you, and you let me know if it shows up as an animated sticker. I'll be interested to see if that works or not.
Yeah, because it should just save it as like a GIF, so that
I
should
would think
be
so, yeah.
playable.
Because I know every time there's an update and there's new emojis,
Yeah.
if you're not on that update, those emojis don't show up.
True.
So that's
True.
why I'm wondering, right? So
Yeah.
we'll experiment with that tomorrow. But anyway, so well, folks, that's basically the short and skinny of what Apple talked about today. There's a lot more, yes, with iPad and Mac and whatnot. But I mean, we tried to keep it as closely focused on photography stuff as we could. Sure, we mentioned a few other things, but there's a few things that were cool. So,
Yeah.
I guess, Dave, we'll just call it at that and tell everybody where they can find you.
Sure. You can find me on most social media as Prof Pod, on TikTok as Prof Pod PGH, and on the Facebook group as Dave Podner Jr.
Alrighty, you can find me at about.me/McMillan. That's probably the best place to find all my social links and stuff. And the website for the podcast is iPhoneography.ca, and you can see the all the different episodes there. You can listen on the website itself if you want to listen while you're sitting at your computer, and otherwise it's on the podcast app, Overcast, all those different ones. So again, no photos this week to look at. Sorry to disappoint everybody, but we'll have some bangers next time, I'm sure. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Okay, so thanks, Dave. And I guess that'll be it for now.
Have a good one, everyone.